everyone, it's Adele.
And Aiya, and we hope you had a productive and pleasant end of 2025. But for now, let's begin 2026 with a fresh start together.
Since our last video, we've been busy with projects for a while, but we are happy to announce that we now have more time and will be producing content more frequently. So, spoiler alert, we have some interesting news that we'll share in the future videos.
In this video, we're going to explore winter time at Drexel University, its events, winter breaks in our home city, and the documents needed for application to American universities. So let's dive into it.
It's already December, yay! All exams are already behind, and Christmas, together with New Year, are approaching. Although winter in Philadelphia has its charms and magic, like other international students, we opted to spend the break in our hometown.
That's why we're heading to JFK Airport in the Big Apple, New York. Yeah, we were in a city where Home Alone 2 took place. However, unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to walk around. But that didn't stop us from spending 8 hours at the airport together with other tourists that were rushing back to their countries. Yeah, you heard it right, we spent 8 hours here alone.
Due to the heavy workload at JFK Airport during Christmas, every flight was delayed by at least 5 hours. But we were compensated with complimentary snacks and water. So here we are, the lucky ones who went around each corner to the duty-free stores.
Despite the long wait, we were anticipating all the goodies we had been missing, and finally, our plane was ready for another 14 flight to Istanbul. While we are traveling, let's talk about admission to US universities, particularly the documents needed for application. Firstly, let's start with the most essential item, your high school transcripts. In case you didn't know, transcripts are documents that track your grades throughout your academic year. Typically, you can get them by directly asking your school for them.
American universities usually request high school transcripts covering through 9th to 12th grades. Occasionally, they may ask for the last 2 or 3 years, and in rare instances, they may also want to review middle school documents, so be prepared. If you are international applicant where English is not the main language in your school, you will need an official translated version of these documents together with the original copy. It could be done at your school or at notary for extra payment.
The next important documents from schools are recommendation letters and the school profile. Typically, a recommendation consists of letters from teachers and principals, whereas a school profile is a document that explains the school's grading system, curriculum, and other details. Don't forget to ask your school counselor and recommenders to create an account beforehand. It would be beneficial to have someone who knows you well and has a related discipline to serve you as a recommender. By the way, your school counselor can also write a recommendation letter for you.
We are almost there, so let's take a break from the application process and visit our hometown. And finally, we are back to our home city. During our winter break, we tried to enjoy this time as much as possible, so we visited every place that we planned. At that time, our city was fully covered in snow, making the vibe even more magical. Since it snowed every day, as a result, each walk looked like this.
Moreover, one of our family's tradition is to visit city's main New Year tree, and this year was no exception. The event was filled with festive atmosphere, garlands, fairs, with hot cocoa, snacks, and ice cream. This day gave us New Year's mood until the very end of the break.
After visiting every place in the city, we decided to take a walk in the mountains, go down the river, and then return back to the city, which was the right decision. The mountains were beautiful and the river was frozen, but under thin ice we saw clear flow. Despite below zero temperature, we walked for hours and ended up tired but enjoyed ourselves. Finally, after a relaxing break, we were full of energy and ready for the next term. So let's go back to Philadelphia and Drexel University. We have something to share with you.
Since we are already at airport, let's continue our talk about documents. Besides letters from your teacher, you should remember to include your essay. It should be personal, showcasing your qualities and why you're interested in this program. The most challenging part is finding a story or activities that shaped you, and then being honest while writing, which can take some time. Usually, you can create a single essay and adapt it to serve as a base for others, since most universities have similar topics, such as explaining why you choose the program, your post graduation plans, and how they relate to your background. Additionally, some universities like Drexel ask for supplemental essays, so be ready. It is crucial to avoid using AI to write your essay, as it will momentarily lose its individuality and the committee will likely notice it. It is better try to writing by yourself, even though it might not be perfect. It will better highlight your personality. What matters is your story, not being a genius to be accepted.
Next is English and standardized test scores. If you didn't study in a school where English was the main language, you will need to take an English proficiency examination. Thus, US universities prefer TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo tests. However, the safest option is usually IELTS. Depending on the status of the university, you will need to target a minimum score of 6 points. For example, Ivy League universities require 7 points IELTS or higher. Additionally, you should consider standardized examinations like SAT or ACT, especially for STEM majors, since they are the main determinant of your math and science abilities. Following the pandemic, many schools made them optional in case someone lacks the opportunity to pass them.
For creative majors like ours, game design and animation, include a portfolio showcasing your creative abilities. It is usually up to 10 to 20 of your best works. The program may involve a range of creative outputs, including digital and traditional drawings, 3D models and scenes, and videos to mini movies. This is the best chance to show yourself and shine, since there is no stylistic restrictions.
Lastly, for both university and visa applications, you will need to provide a copy of your photo, a copy of your passport, and financial documents, including bank statements and sponsor letter and proof of your parents' employment. Of course, you must also pay a fee to submit your application.
Oof, that's it for documents. Now that winter break is over, our studies are back on track. With new year comes a new quarter and of course new classes with interesting assignments. So let's go to our class together. According to today's weather forecast, there will be a lot of snow. That is why some of our classes were online. To save time, we decided to stay at the library during online classes.
After classes, we headed back home and finished some assignments. Due to our creative majors, we have quite unique tasks to do, starting from developing code to creating designs. Here is an example of our artwork for class. For this project, we needed to create two designs with simple shapes like rectangle, triangles, or circles using only black and white colors. Another criteria was to make one picture static and another one dynamic.
The first layer of painting was a base for a whole drawing. Thanks to it, next layer of paint will be less smudged and shapes will be more precise. And now the satisfying part is peeling off tape. And now let us introduce you to our annual event, Crystal Ball. By purchasing tickets, students can attend this magical night, hosted by Campus Activities Board, which is filled with dances and different activities. This is a great opportunity to dress up as a princess and enjoy the night with your close friends.
The Crystal Ball is usually held in our main building, and it has own menu with supplemental canapes like cheesecake, mini burgers, and mocktails. We even found S'mores Corner, where you could roast your own s'mores. To be honest, everything was quite delicious.
Besides the menu, it is also worth noting all the events that are happening during the Crystal Ball. Thus, you can have a 360-degree photo shoot, dance with DJ, craft events, and even play Jeopardy with prizes like Legos and mugs. Unfortunately, we didn't win anything, but we enjoyed it though. The vibe of this place and music was magical. What a day. If you plan to study at this university, this experience is a must have for all.
After a week full of events, it's time to fill our refrigerator with groceries. As students, finding time to buy groceries is more complicated, so weekends are the perfect time to shop. We usually prefer to order products online with delivery because we are busy with assignments and projects. But sometimes we prefer to go outside and breathe some fresh air.
Here we are passing through our university sport complex. This complex is one of the university's bus stations, which makes it easier to get from campus to different parts of the city. But since we decided to have a walk, we did not take a bus.
Living here during wintertime, we have noticed funny colored salt for roads to melt snow and ice. This is quite amusing. Salts have multiple colors on different streets: pink, blue, green, but not yellow.
Another tradition at Drexel University is homecoming. Each January, after returning from winter break, the university organizes basketball games against another universities to support student spirit. Furthermore, our community makes a bonfire on Lancaster Walk, where everyone, including students, alumni, and faculty, can roast marshmallows and make s'mores. In addition, there were many fair games. It is a cozy event, especially if you are spending this time with a great company like we did.
After eating s'mores with friends, we played a bit and headed towards the main building to meet our friend who participated in a quite different event. Here's a small hint: it is related to a joker, and it is a game night. Did you guess it right? The Vietnamese Student Association organized an event where everyone could play with cards and try their luck. The event featured a variety of table games, including blackjack, poker, and prizes with a twist, fake money, bearing members' faces.
As someone who has never had experience playing cards, I was lucky and even managed to win some games. So, together with our friends, we decided to combine all efforts and win at least one prize. However, despite joint efforts, we were far from the winner's scores. At least we had a lot of fun.
I hope you enjoyed our adventures. In the next video, we'll talk about scholarships. But right now,
Bye
bye
bye!
bye!